Oscar guy here. So I went and saw Barbie in the theaters like pretty much everybody else in the entire world. So before this came out, I will admit I did have serious doubts about it. How good can a Barbie movie be? I kept asking myself, and then I kept reminding myself that the director and writers of this film are responsible for two of my favorite films of all time, so, you know. Needless to say, my reservations I had with Barbie were mixed with hope. And you know what? It was pretty good. I think Greta Gerwig and Noah B. did a fine job. And I don't think it's necessarily perfect, but I do think it's just about as good as we're possibly gonna get with a Barbie movie in 2023. Let's start with the technical aspects of the film. The production design, set decoration, and just the dollhouse-esque aesthetic of the Barbie world is, I think, the film's biggest strong suit. The fantastical elements of the film don't have to make sense, and the film is absolutely aware of that. The cinematography and color schemes are very solid here as well. Margot Robbie is fantastic as always, who brings so many layers of conflicting emotion and existential dread to the stereotypical Barbie that she portrays so seamlessly. And the supporting cast of all of the different Barbies and Kens also do a bang-up job. Will Ferrell, of course, brings his classic man-child energy to some of the movie's most laugh-out-loud moments. America Ferrera gives a surprisingly impassioned performance, especially during one fantastic scene in particular that left my theater pin-drop silent. If you've seen it, you know the one. And Ryan Gosling. Dear Lord, Ryan Gosling. His scene-stealing performance here just goes to show that he is one of the best and most underappreciated comedic actors working today. Now, this leaves me with my somewhat complicated thoughts about the rest of the film. I do think the film's messages on gender politics and self-discovery are very important and should be told to younger generations in particular. However, I felt that the way the film drives these points home were a bit hit or miss for me. Some of the writing is very clever and does take a very solid screenwriting duo like Greta G and Noah B to pull off these deep topics whilst injecting witty screwball comedy into the mix. But the execution of the film's messages can be quite messy and kind of difficult to parse at times, at least for me. I do really want to be careful in saying that I feel that on the surface level, especially with the film's final act and ending, there seems to be a bit more to take away from Barbie as a woman than as a man like myself. Which isn't a bad thing at all, as it does allow me to have a certain level of empathy for the female perspective without fully understanding it. Now, meanwhile, on the deeper level, the film is also sympathetic of Ken's own journey of self-discovery and masculinity in his own right. But it did admittedly take me a bit of pondering and processing on my own after seeing the film to ultimately come to that conclusion, and yeah, maybe that's on me. Maybe I'll need to rewatch this in order to fully conceptualize these themes. I don't know. As someone who doesn't typically watch films from a political viewpoint at all, I found this experience surprisingly challenging, dare I say. So, for those of you who may be in the same boat, come into this film with an open mind and prepared to do a ponder, do a think. Regardless, I still think Barbie is a very entertaining, thought-provoking, and important film nevertheless. In Greta G and Noah B, we trust. I am going to give Barbie a solid 4 out of 5. Now, how will Barbie do at the Oscars? Yep, things are definitely looking up for Barbie's chances with the Academy Awards. At this point, I do see this getting a Best Picture nomination, although I do also see a world where it misses. Best Director is more up in the air, but indeed possible. Best Actress, much like last year, is already a very crowded category, so Margot Robbie might be a long shot, unfortunately, as good as she is. Ryan Gosling in Supporting Actor, meanwhile, is almost a shoo-in for a nomination, and some are even saying that he is in the winning conversation. As much he is overdue, and he indeed deserves it, I do think he has an uphill battle in regards to the Academy's bias towards comedic performances like this one, and the brewing narratives for Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer and our boy De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. But perhaps its biggest shots as of now is adapted screenplay, production design, and costume design, which I think are all in the winning conversation. Best Original Song is also very possible for any number of songs in the film. Some other tech categories may be long shots for now, but again, we're just gonna have to wait and see how Barbie shapes up in the season to come as it keeps raking in that frickin' Benjamins, man. That's gonna be it for me. You are Kenough, and Oscar Guy is